welcome back to Celebrating Culture. We're here today in Rolling Fork, Mississippi, and I'm with Meg Cooper, who is the director of Mississippi's Lower Delta Partnership. Meg, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thanks for visiting the Delta.
Meg, you have a great thing going here with Rolling Fork, the teddy bear story. Tell me a little bit about it.
In 1902, President Theodore Roosevelt came to Sharkey County, Mississippi to go on a black bear hunt. It took place in probably what is today Delta National Forest, but he got off the train down at Smead's Plantation in southern Sharkey County, and they all got on horses and loaded up and rode into the forest where there was going to be a bear hunt. For the president, of course, you know, quite a momentous event for folks around here. They had engaged the best bear hunter, best guide in the region to make sure that the president killed a bear on this hunt. And that was Holt Collier. Holt Collier from Greenville, Mississippi was a legendary bear hunter at that time. In his lifetime, he killed over 3,000 black bears. Holt Collier had been here weeks before, scoping out where the bears were, finding the trails through the cane brakes and all of that. So the first morning of the hunt, the president had told them he planned to kill a bear. And everyone knew that the first bear was the president's. Nobody else could kill a bear. You know, it kind of went without saying. Holt took the president and his hunting companion, Mr. Foote, and he kind of seated them on the stand, which was basically a log on the side of a slough. And he said, "We're going to run the bear, and he's going to come out right there where you can shoot him." Well, this went on for several hours in the morning, and they could hear the dogs. They could hear them running, and late in the morning, they were getting further and further and further away. Those dogs, he's crossed the river, they've gone that way, and they were hungry. And Roosevelt said, "Let's go back to camp. Let's go get some lunch." So he and Mr. Foote got up and went back to where they were camping, and it wasn't much later that bear turned, and the dogs chased it. And Holt, being so familiar with the area and so familiar with his dogs, he knew when that bear should have come out, you know, just by the sound of the bark. And he kept listening, and Holt, he came out, no president and all. Well, by this time, his dogs had cornered the bear in a slough. So the bear turned around and started attacking Holt's dogs, which were very valuable to him, his hunting dogs, and had Holt's favorite dog, in fact. And so Holt jumped down off his horse. He couldn't shoot the bear. The president was supposed to shoot the bear. So instead, he took his gun and he held it by the barrel and he clubbed the bear over the head. The bear went down, let go of the dog. Holt told him to bring him a rope. He lassoed the bear, tied the bear to a tree, and said, "Send for the president to come shoot this bear." The president did come. He saw the bear tied to a tree, and people are going, "Shoot him, shoot the bear. It'll be a successful hunt, shoot the bear." And he knew, you know, that would be a political mistake to shoot this bear that was tied up on a rope and everything. So the president said, "No, that would be unsportsmanlike. I will not shoot this bear." And of course, the press wrote about it, and Clifford Berryman, who was the famous political cartoonist of the day, did a political cartoon showing the president refusing to shoot a bear. Of course, he drew a little bear cub in his cartoon. Now, it was not a bear cub that the president refused to shoot. It was a 250-pound bear. Morris Mitchum, who had a toy shop in New Jersey, he wrote President Roosevelt and said, "I've got these stuffed toy bears in my shop. Do you mind if I call them Teddy's Bears?" And the president said, "I don't know how that could help you sell a bear, but yes, you may do that." So they were called Teddy's Bears, which has become Teddy Bear. And that is why childhood stuffed toy bears are always called teddy bears, because of a hunt here in Sharkey County. In fact, we have a visitor center down in Auburn, Mississippi, the Theodore Roosevelt National Wildlife Visitors Center. And they can see a replica of the skull from that bear, and you can see where it's got a dent in it from where it was hit over the head by Holt Collier. It's part of the Theodore Roosevelt Wildlife Refuge, and it has a great educational wing in it that is called the Holt Collier Educational Center.
Tell me about Holt Collier. What is his story?
Holt Collier was born a slave. He lived in the Greenville, Mississippi area. When he was 14, his master and his master's son went to fight in the Civil War. And Holt escaped and followed them and went and fought for the Confederacy in the Civil War. So he was a Confederate soldier. He later came back after the war, but he hunted. In fact, when they were building the railroads, when the railroads were coming through, one of the things he did to earn money was they had brought in all this labor that they needed to feed. Holt got a gun and they would pay for dressed carcasses of deer, bear, whatever, to feed the workers. And so Holt did that. Holt became quite prosperous for an African American of that time. Today, one of his favorite hunting grounds, in fact, is now the Holt Collier National Wildlife Refuge up near Greenville, Mississippi.
I heard he was once offered $10,000 for his dogs and turned it down.
He may have. A good hunting dog, it's hard to find.
He and Roosevelt became long-term friends.
They did, in fact. When Roosevelt, he was bound and determined to kill a black bear. You know, he was quite the sportsman and he loved to hunt. He was also a great conservationist. And he went on a hunt in Louisiana in 1907 and he requested that Holt Collier be engaged to help on that hunt. And on that hunt, President Roosevelt did kill a black bear.
There's even a town named after him in Louisiana called Roosevelt. I think the population is 6. It's a small town. There's a National Wildlife Refuge on Breton Island in St. Bernard. He created a preserve there to save the birds. So he's actually very much the conservationist.
He was. In fact, he was the founder of the National Wildlife Refuge System. He created that during his presidency.
Meg, tell me about the Great Delta Bear Fair.
The Great Delta Bear Fair started in 2002, which was the 100th year anniversary of the hunt. And we have fantastic entertainment. The musical entertainment's great. There's, all those festival things. Of course, there's that great food. There's arts and crafts. We have several different environmental groups that come. My favorite is our chainsaw wood carver. Every year, he carves a new 12-foot sculpture of a bear of some sort for the community. And today, we have about 16 of these pieces of public art scattered around Rolling Fork at different places. We've got the journalist bear at the Deer Creek Pilot, which is our local newspaper. Dr. Bear is at the hospital. We have presidential bears in front of the courthouse. And then we have bears climbing trees, and we have Paul Bunyan Bear at the lumberyard. And he did President Roosevelt one year, and then he did Holt Collier the next year. And so we've got Roosevelt and Holt Collier as well. We have a publication where people can pick it up, and it has a map of the bear hunt, and you can take a carved bear hunt around Rolling Fork and search for all the bears.
The black bear was actually an endangered species.
It was, and that was another reason for starting the festival in 2002, was to draw attention to the plight of the black bear in Mississippi, here in its historic native grounds. And at that time, I think there were only about 5 black bears that they knew of in Mississippi. Since then, more habitat has been installed, thanks to programs through the Natural Resource Conservation Services for farmers, where they can put marginal land into habitat. And black bear habitat has been reestablished, and the bear population has come on back.
So the Louisiana black bears are actually starting from the Tensaw National Wildlife Refuge, which is 80,000 acres, swimming all the way across the Mississippi River.
Right, those bears swim the river. We've gotten a few Louisiana bears.
Meg, I want to thank you for being on the show. And if someone wants more information, where do they go?
They can go to our website, which is lowerdelta.org, and for information specific to the Great Delta Bear Affair Festival, they can go to greatdeltabearaffair.org.
And stay tuned, we'll be right back with more Celebrating Culture.
Each year we sell a different bear at the Great Delta Bear Fair. Like Mr. Tie-Dye Bear here, that year the festival theme was peace, love, and teddy bears. And then this year in 2020, we didn't have a festival, but we still had bears. And we had who we call the COVID bear. He's actually a sloth bear, but we thought he looked like COVID with all of his wild and crazy hair and everything. Every year we take teddy bears to the Blairy Batson Children's Hospital in Jackson, Mississippi. And we take bears to every child that's in the hospital and to every child that's receiving treatment in the clinic. They all get a teddy bear from the Great Delta Bear Fair. This is Theodora. This is my grandson's favorite teddy bear. In fact, my grandson was born during the Great Delta Bear Fair one year. So it's fitting that he loves a bear.